Hi, welcome to another episode of American Sailing Sailor of the Month. I'm Christy, your host, and I love interviewing sailors from around the world who have amazing stories about how sailing makes life more rewarding. Each of the sailors we interview are everyday people, old salts and new sailors alike. They each have something about their story that can benefit everyone. Today we're talking to Sherry Roth. Sherry's home port is Branch Beach Yacht Club near Toms River, New Jersey. In one short year, Sherry has gone from watching sailors from afar to taking her ASA 101, 103, and 104. She's had some bold adventures sailing in Croatia and the Gulf of Mexico, and is currently preparing to be first mate on a trip in October. She is proof that when the ocean calls, a true sailor answers. I hope you enjoy hearing her story today, and Sherry, we look forward to catching up with you when you return in October. All right, welcome to another episode of American Sailing Sailor of the Month. I'm here today with Sherry Roth. Sherry, congratulations on being the September Sailor of the Month.
Thank you. I'm very honored.
We're excited to have you. So I would really love to hear a little bit about where your home port is and what kind of boat you have and how you kind of got started sailing.
Well, for right now, I live in Branch Beach, New Jersey, and I'm a member of the Branch Beach Yacht Club. I'm a new member. I just became a member a year ago, and I have a sunfish boat, which I would love to get a bigger boat someday, but my immediate goal this past summer was to learn how to sail it and learn about the winds, the wind directions, how to tack, how to jive, how to do all these things with a little boat, because I initially fell in love with a 49-foot Geno.
Oh, wow.
That we sailed in Croatia just a year ago, and that's where my passion really started.
Awesome. So Branch Beach Yacht Club is located in New Jersey, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about what got you into sailing.
My son sailed for years. He sailed in Opti, and I grew up on the Barnegat Bay. I always loved the bay. I love boating. We actually have had a motorboat for about 8 years now. When my son got involved with sailing, I found it so fascinating, and I kind of lived vicariously through him, I guess you could say, until I started to get interested in sailing myself. But I didn't have a sailboat, and I would always ask people, can you teach me how to sail? But without a sailboat, it was kind of impossible. So Branch Beach Yacht Club offers adult sunfish classes. So I signed up for those last summer, and I wasn't very enthusiastic about it because I was honestly terrified. I had no idea what I was doing. And if the winds were above 10 knots, I did not go out. So I might have sailed 5 times last summer. But when friends of mine invited me to go on their trip to Croatia, they were planning a family vacation, and they were renting a 49-foot Geno. I was like, there's no way you can keep me from not going on that trip. And I had such an amazing time and fell in love with sailing. And I was determined to do whatever I had to be able to skipper a boat like that.
How cool. So what were some of your kind of most memorable experiences on that trip?
Everything was so beautiful. I'd never been to Croatia before, and the people there are just so friendly. There's so much history, obviously. I wish I had known more about the history before I went, because it was mind-blowing. And just being on the sailboat itself, the tranquility of it, and just the just trying to troubleshoot everything, learn how to tack and how to use the winches and how to flake lines, and the whole thing fascinated me. I was already familiar with the plot charter and how to navigate a little bit, so that part came easy to me. But I just love the feeling of the wind picking up and being able to sail and not have an engine running.
There's nothing quite like it.
No, there isn't.
You mentioned before the trip, you had some things come up at home and some maybe adversity. So you want to share a little bit about, I think your passion gets really reflected in that.
Yeah, wow, I like a couple weeks before the trip, our second home in Fort Myers Beach got destroyed by Hurricane Ian, and it was devastating for everyone on the island, my neighbors especially, that we had grown to know over the past believe we've owned the house for 7 years. Many homes just totally wiped out, but we couldn't even get on the island for a while. So I just decided I was going to go. There was nothing that would change the situation. So I just said, we have to go to Croatia. I'm not going to miss out on this.
Yeah. And there you were falling in love with sailing afterwards, and it's changed your whole life, huh?
Yeah, it has. And we look so much forward to vacationing down in Florida. We love the area. But instead of vacationing down in Florida, it opened up an opportunity for me to take 3 ASA courses down in Tampa. So that kept me busy over the winter months.
Yeah, that's awesome. One other moment you mentioned when you went to Croatia, you guys stayed somewhere interesting.
Yeah, Diocletian's Palace. Is that what you're referring to?
That's
Yeah,
so
it was
cool.
mind-blowing that that split, the area where Diocletian's Palace was built is just amazing. Inside the palace walls, there's, so many cafes and little restaurants, and we stayed at an Airbnb that was built right into the side of the palace. That was so amazing.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
so cool how sailing will take you so many places that were just like kind of unexpected and not even on your radar.
Yeah, and everything looks so different from the water. The ports are amazing, and they're all set up to welcome sailors. And when you meet, it's like camping. I've camped before. When you meet other sailors and you're docked next to them, you develop friendships that you never thought. The one morning we met up. I speak German because my family's German, so we met this guy who was from Austria, and the guy that I was sailing with, we met up with him in the morning to go spearfishing. So that was really a fun outing. Even though we didn't catch anything, it was fun to spend time with someone and meet somebody from, another country that could speak a language that I haven't spoken in a while, because I lived there like 20 years, 30 years ago.
Well, it's cool. Like sailing just connects you with the world around you that way. So did you guys, I'm curious, I'm a diver. So did you scuba fish, spearfish, or were you just
No,
free diving?
free diving.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but there weren't many fish like greater than like 6 inches, so we didn't bother.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you mentioned you took 3 classes from ASA. So do you want to kind of go into those and talk about that a little bit?
Sure. The first one I took with, I had gone to Croatia with the Tate family. So Karen, my friend Karen, her daughter Alicia, who wasn't on our trip to Croatia, but she had a newborn baby. So it's gonna be a while before she can go bareboat cruising with us. So Karen and Alicia and I went down to flagship sailing down in Ruskin, Florida, and we took our 101 course. And that's where I met Adrian, Alicia, and Captain Nordy, who are part of the team that teaches people down there. And we had an amazing time. And then I came back for the 103 without my friends. I came by myself and took the 103 class with 2 guys that I'd never met before, 2 other students. And then when April came around, Captain Nordy texted me. He's like, Sherry, we're having this trip to Key West. It was from Tampa to Key West, and I know how much you would love to go on that. And I thought for sure my husband would be like, no way, you can't leave for 2 weeks to go on this 10-day trip, But he held down the fort, let me go, and it was just an amazing trip. When I asked Nordy who was going, he told me it was a retired Marine helicopter pilot and a retiring Army officer. I was a little intimidated, but I had my friend Elle come along with me, so we balanced out the female versus male ratio. Yeah, we had such a blast. The guys were so much fun. There was one guy, Greg, who was getting his 105, the coastal navigation. Okay. Yeah. So it was interesting to see what he was learning. We all learned everything he was learning. We touched on so much that wasn't even, you could never gain that much information from just taking a standard 104 course. We learned so much about everything, the boat safety, not only just sailing, but the mechanics of the boat and some celestial navigation, learning how to read charts. It was like there was no moment on the boat where we were not just constantly learning something.
I love how you wrote that there was like a full waning moon and you were
Oh,
just sailing for
yeah.
like 44 hours across the Gulf. That's
And I
so
also wrote about the first night where I got so sick because I had Nordy in his humor, he assigns me to the midnight to 4 a.m. shift. So we each had these watches. Mine was midnight to 4 a.m. and noon to 4 p.m.
Okay.
So I was trying to rest for my first midnight shift. And that's when we ran into really bad weather where the boat was heeled over. And I've never been in a situation like that before. I should have gone above to sit in the cockpit, but I tried to rest for my shift and I wound up getting so deathly ill the first night. So I couldn't even do my watch. So the next night that I had my watch was like such a gift because that whole day I was fine. I just ate ginger snap crackers the whole day. But that was just amazing with the moon and just the peacefulness. And I did the whole 4 hour shift without, giving up the helm.
I feel like the ocean really is both a giver and a taker.
Yes.
And, it will school you and then it will romance you at the same time.
Absolutely.
You can't really, you go on such a wide range of
and you have to have respect for both because
Absolutely.
when you have the peace, you can really enjoy it. But I'll tell you, even having the difficult challenges, your adrenaline starts flowing, you start problem solving and okay, what do I have to do next? And it's exciting.
It's one of the few places you find out who you really are.
Exactly. Like, it's so true.
It's usually a good discovery,
yeah.
especially if you keep doing it.
I never knew I had this in me, believe me.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, so you were with Captain Nordy at Flagship Sailing School. What other classes does he offer, and anything else about that school? Or
he offers so much. I mean, when I was there for one of my classes, there was a guy from the Greek Navy who was there to get training.
Oh, wow.
So it's a top-notch school. I mean, Nordy's a retired fighter pilot, and he's so knowledgeable and has such a calm demeanor and just a great way of teaching. He's very patient, but very stern with like safety, and everything has a checklist. Mm-hmm. So you make sure you go through the checklist and that you know what you're doing. He's not just teaching you so you could pass the class. Mm-hmm. So after I passed the test and I got my everything I needed for bareboat cruising, he's like, okay, Sherry, so next, here's what you're going to do. So my next goal is to do the navigation course, and I'm currently signed up for the ASA docking and maneuvering course because that's my biggest fear about bareboat cruising is being able to, handle docking. Yeah. The sailing, I think,
We all like the boat moving, but not many of us enjoy the parking part.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I was going to ask you what's next for you, but it sounds like that's what's next. So
yeah, and actually in 1 week we're leaving to go to sail the Aeolian Islands, which I'm very excited about.
Very cool.
My first trip to Croatia, I wasn't planning on doing anything. I didn't know what I was doing, but I learned a lot. And over the course of my, being with Captain Nordy, I learned a ton. And now I'm going to be the first mate on this trip. So
exciting.
It's a little nerve-wracking because, I don't have a lot of experience, but you have to learn sometime.
So are you doing homework in advance? Does he have you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what are you working on?
Well, I'm doing the docking and maneuvering. I'm also reviewing all the knots, which pretty much have most of them tied down. At least at least the important ones. And just watching YouTube videos. Our crew, the Tates and I, we really love watching Sailing Virgins. They're pretty funny. Yeah. Pretty funny guys. So a lot of times we watch some of those, and just an abundance, and just reviewing the ASA books, because taking these courses, especially like one after the other, it's like learning a new language, the whole thing. So just constantly reviewing and, and hoping that I'll be prepared. But my biggest goal this past summer was to, I bought a brand new sunfish.
Okay.
And I said, conquer the sunfish. I'm going to learn how to sail. I'm going to learn the points of wind, how to maneuver my boat. Because if you could sail a small boat like that, you can sail a bigger boat.
It's so true. They really are the biggest teacher. They'll dump you in the water quick.
And not only did I meet my goal, but I was actually a pretty good racer.
Nice.
I'm racing with women and men from my club that I've been racing for decades, and I've learned a lot from them, and it's been very exciting to sail with them. And I'm sailing with people that I've been sailing with decades. They sail big boats and small boats. They travel the world.
Don't you just love how sailors like to kind of lift each other along and make it better? So beautiful.
Yeah, it is. I never expected that. I really didn't. Being a new sailor, especially, like, people are very excited. And I just becoming a member of my yacht club, there were many people who were on the waiting list to join the yacht club, but they're very excited to have me join because of my enthusiasm for sailing. And I have a really big passion for teaching women how to sail. So yeah, because I see a lot of women try sailing and they get out there, just like I was last summer. I was terrified. I had no idea what I was doing. And it takes a while to figure that out. But once you do, the rewards are priceless.
So are you on the path to becoming an instructor then?
I would love to do that. I was looking at the requirements. You need 3 years of sailing experience. So I definitely would love to do that. But I'm kind of doing it, like, not certified, but just helping some of the women through so they don't quit before they, succeed.
It takes all kinds, and I think that requirement's there just to make sure you've had enough experience, but everyone would love the fact that you're still already helping people along the way. That's beautiful. Awesome. Well, Sherry, so how long will you be on your next trip?
A week on the boat, 2 weeks total. We're going to spend some time in London and in Catania.
Nice.
Sicily's, I've never been to Sicily, so I'm really looking forward to going to Taormina and just, doing some touring while we're there. So
we'll have to follow up with you when you return and get your story and hear more about.
Oh, yeah, I would love to share.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cool. Well, do you have anything else you want to share with your fellow American sailors?
I think that I would love to share that it's never too late. I'm 56.
Oh, wow.
So, part of my thing is, like, I wish I had learned how to do this earlier. I could have had a couple decades of, experience under my belt, but it's never too late as long as you're, strong enough, healthy enough. I don't know. You have the passion. You can do just about anything. And, when I got on that big yacht and I saw myself, like, at the helm of that yacht, I couldn't believe I was actually doing this. And when we left that trip, I was nearly in tears because I thought I'll never have the opportunity to do this again. But then I found out all you have to do is take 3 courses. Now, granted, they're not easy, but if you are, motivated, you could do just about anything. I'm so excited that I'm able to do this, and that my sailing community has really embraced, what I'm doing, and they're very encouraging.
Yeah.
So I would say keep up.
Awesome. I love how deeply this has touched you because that touches other people. So thank you so much for reaching out to share your story with us. And we will definitely keep tabs on you. You just keep being that beacon that you are, and we'll keep up with you.
Thank you so much. It's nice to meet you.
All right. Thanks, Sherry. That's a wrap. Thank you, Sherry. Thanks for telling us your story. And congratulations on being chosen as American Sailing's September 2023 Sailor of the Month. We look forward to hearing all of your adventures when you return. If you have a story you'd like to share, we'd love to hear it. Please check us out at asa.com/Sailor of the Month, and you might be next.